There's a particular technique for cultivating garlic that yields bulbs 3 times the size of anything from the supermarket. It skips synthetic fertilizers and pesticides entirely, thriving in virtually any soil type. Commercial growers know these tricks, but deliberately avoid them. The current farming system is built to block you from using them. They push the wrong seeds, the wrong equipment, and incorrect planting depths. Why? A huge garlic bulb that lasts a full year in storage and replants indefinitely spells trouble for grocery profits. They rely on you shopping weekly. They count on your garlic spoiling. They prefer you as a buyer, not a grower. Over the past century, agribusiness focused on easy shipping over size or taste. They stripped away the plant's toughness, transforming a hardy survivor into a delicate product. Yet the plant's biology remains unchanged. Every clove still holds the secret to enormous yields, just needing the proper cue. In this video, we'll reveal the 8 forgotten steps the industry ditched. We'll unearth the guide they tried to hide. These are the tricks that transform a lone clove into a powerhouse bulb. To grasp why your garlic stays puny, get the idea of the winter clock. Garlic's wired from the Ice Age with a built-in vernalization process. It's a key survival feature. The plant demands 400 to 800 hours below 40 degrees Fahrenheit of harsh cold to flip the genetic switch for bulbing. Skip that chill and no bulb forms. It just becomes a single round onion called a round. The overlooked technique precisely hacks this clock. Big farmers sow in spring or late fall, crossing fingers. Old-school master growers didn't gamble. They ensured success with artificial vernalization. In milder climates, or to boost bulbing, they'd chill seed garlic in a root cellar or fridge for 6 to 8 weeks pre-planting. This simulates a brutal winter, fooling the DNA into thinking it endured a killer freeze. Once that pre-treated garlic hits the dirt, it surges ahead. Convinced it's post-winter, the plant races to multiply, driving fierce division and huge bulbs. Today's farming skips it to streamline operations. Refrigerating massive seed garlic quantities costs too much. Easier to plant and settle for tiny bulbs. For backyard growers, though, tweaking this bio-clock separates average crops from trophy hauls. They peddle the myth that bulb size is luck or seed type. Reality. Size stems from thermal stress response. Master the stress, master the size. They hawk mismatched varieties for your zone to hide the plant's true power. Controlling vernalization unleashes the genetics that stores ignore for quick, easy gains. Flip through any current gardening guide, and it'll say plant cloves 2 inches deep. That's echoed on packets, websites, and ag extensions. It's a machine-friendly fib. Factory planters barely cover the clove. Deeper planting clogs gear, spikes fuel use, and drags down pace. So, 2 inches became __0__, not for the plant's benefit, but the tractor's. The buried secret: plant 4 to 6 inches deep, burying a clove that far compels epic root growth just to reach daylight. This deep base delivers 3 essentials for monster bulbs. It keeps roots under the frost line, shielding from freeze-thaw upheavals that shred shallow ones. It taps deeper water and nutrients beyond the sun-baked topsoil. Crucially, it builds resistance. The expanding bulb presses against dense earth underground, tightening skins for firm, long-keeping bulbs. Surface-planted garlic stays fluffy and loose. Deep-planted turns rock hard. Industry skips it since deep harvest defies machines. You can't yank it. You must excavate. That's manual work. Teaching folks to plant garlic shallow trains them to cultivate fragile, needy plants that demand endless watering and babysitting. It's a system designed to keep the crop perpetually teetering on collapse, locking you into buying their watering setups and chemical feeds. Going deep brings garlic back to its rugged, deep-rooted origins as a tough survivor. The roots can then reach down into your garden's deeper layers, pulling minerals from subsoil that surface-loving yearly plants never access. It's about embracing the natural laws of balance and strength. Today's fertilizers push nitrogen hard because it sparks fast, lush green tops that give gardeners that instant wow factor. For garlic, though, it's a sucker punch, pushing out huge, gorgeous leaves while the bulb stays puny. All the plant's vigor goes skyward, skimping on underground storage. Fertilizer makers adore nitrogen since it's dirt cheap to whip up from natural gas, and it hooks you with endless green cravings that cry out for extra H2O and TLC. The old-school approach zeroed in on phosphorus and calcium. No fancy blue granules, just bones. Those wise growers knew phosphorus fuels root power. With the bone spike trick, they'd plant crushed burned bones or bone meal right beneath each clove. That sets up a phosphorus hotspot exactly where roots will dive in. Unlike nitrogen that rinses away in downpours, phosphorus sticks put in the dirt. Positioned under the clove, it draws roots straight to the stash, cueing the plant to beef up its frame and balloon the bulb instead of leafy fluff. You end up with a sturdy, thick-stemmed beast channeling huge energy reserves downward. Factory farming scatters fertilizer across whole fields, fattening weeds right alongside the garlic. The bone spike zeroes in solely on your crop, a pinpoint nutrient strike, not some wasteful barrage. Big Ag ditched it because they can't peddle a $5 one-shot bone meal bag when they're raking in $50 repeats on nitrogen slurries. They pivoted attention from roots and yields to pretty tops. Bringing back phosphorus means honoring the hidden parts of the plant above all. Valuing the crop you reap over eye candy. Commercial garlic patches are mostly naked soil, blasted with herbicides to zap weeds and leaving earth raw to gales, scorching sun and winter's bite. That battering wears the garlic down. Stressed out, it races to bloom and seed instead of packing on bulb size. The forgotten fix is heavy mulching, right after planting. Pile on 6 to 8 inches of straw, leaves, or decaying hay. It copies a woodland base, forming a living shield. This cover evens out soil temps, keeping it thawed longer in deep freeze so roots keep pushing and cool and damp in spring thaw. Mulch is true magic. The decomposing base layer pumps out CO2 right at ground level, wrapping emerging garlic shoots in a turbocharged air that amps up sugar making. Deep mulching rebuilds that natural safeguard, letting garlic thrive without pressure. Chill plants funnel every ounce into bulking up. Hard-neck types shoot up a bloom stem known as escape. It's their big reproductive bet, siphoning 30% to 40% of all stored power and robbing the bulb blind. The precise scape, snap, and hack is key. When it hooks into a perfect loop, twist it off by hand. That triggers a chemical abort signal. The plant gets the memo that seeding's a bust, so it slams all leftover juice into cloning via a monster bulb swell. That pivot sparks a growth explosion right before pull-up time. Mastering this tweak is like rewiring the plant's inner drive, ditching its baby-making scheme to supersize your meal, netting 30% bigger hauls at $0. Factory farming sees dirt as dead filler, just a holder for chem-laced water. They spray fungicides to wipe out fungi and molds, pegging them as enemies. That results in lifeless dirt. In lifeless dirt, garlic roots can't extend beyond their own reach. They can only absorb moisture they directly contact. The traditional approach harnessed the mycorrhizal network. Ancient growers would haul in forest soil, especially from beneath hardwood trees, and blend it into their garlic plots. They lacked the term mycorrhizae, yet they recognized that woodland earth carried a vital essence boosting plant growth. Now we understand it delivers helpful fungi. Those fungi link onto garlic roots, sending out tiny filaments known as hyphae that stretch miles through nearby soil. This boosts the root's effective surface by 1,000 times. The fungi break down rock for minerals and seek water in tiny crevices, too narrow for roots. In return, the garlic shares a bit of photosynthetic sugar with them. It's a fair exchange. Chemical fertilizers, particularly those loaded with phosphorus salts, shatter that bond. The plant quits supplying the fungi since it's getting easy nutrients from the grower. The fungal web collapses. Then drought strikes or fertilizer fades, leaving the plant stranded without its backup. Big Ag hides the fungal technique because you can't patent wild woodland fungi. They prefer you as the only nutrient source for your crops. By adding mycorrhizae to your garlic, via forest soil or a commercial packet, you delegate nutrient hunting to a free biological workforce. You're linking the plant back to the planet's innate web. Check out a typical commercial garlic field. Pure monoculture. Endless rows of uniform plants perfectly aligned for tractor tires. That tight packing suits machinery but rings the dinner bell for bugs. Onion root maggots and garlic rust fungus hop freely plant to plant. Growers fight back with pesticide sprays. The forgotten way. Polyculture planting. Old-timers skipped solid blocks of garlic. They used guilds, scattering garlic amid chamomile, savory, and lettuce. They knew garlic thrives socially but picks its pals carefully. Chamomile especially ramps up garlic's flavor and essential oils as a companion tonic. The gaps let air currents flow, curbing fungal spread. Varied root depths among partners avoided nutrient fights. Factory farming prioritizes space efficiency over plant vitality. They jam plants tight for max yield per acre, settling for puny, sickly bulbs and writing off losses as overhead. Backyard growers can skip that trap. Offer garlic breathing room, plus supportive neighbors, and sprays become obsolete. Pests face a baffling smellscape. The chamomile cloaks garlic's aroma. This yields massive, robust bulbs since every plant gets royal treatment, not assembly line drudgery. It swaps industrial uniformity for meadow-like toughness. Now, the ultimate trick for stellar garlic, the harvest itself. Dub it the slow cure. Factory ops yank garlic, trim it, and blast it with kiln heat to speed it to shelves. They strip water fast to block mold in transit. Trouble is that quick drying dooms the bulb. It halts life processes, trapping immature green flavors and wrecking storage potential. The slow cure revives that ancient finishing touch. Freshly harvested, the plant's still alive, brimming with leaf and stem-stored energy, sugars, and water. Veterans grasped this. They'd suspend whole plants, roots, soil, tops intact, in a shady, breezy shed for 4 to 6 weeks. There, it feeds on itself. Drying leaves channel leftover energy to the bulb. Post-harvest, the bulb swells slightly and packs denser. Tastes deepen into rich layers. Skins tighten snugly over cloves for airtight protection, ensuring year-long shelf life sans rot. Consider. Grocers can't wait 6 weeks. Space and time cost fortunes. Result. Green garlic sprouting in your cupboard after 2 weeks. You're buying unfinished goods denied their full cycle. The slow cure respects that last phase, letting it gear up for enduring storage. That waiting game delivers a bulb that's solid as stone, exploding with taste, and practically lasts forever in storage. It's the gap between something rushed to market and real sustenance built to endure. The techniques we've covered: vernalization, deep planting, bone spiking, heavy mulching, surgical scaping, fungal inoculation, polyculture, and slow curing, aren't some modern gimmicks. They're hard-earned knowledge from millennia of hands-on farming. This is simply how people grew it before industrial thinking hijacked agriculture. The big ag world sidelined these practices because they don't mesh with peddling chemical fixes. These approaches lean on natural processes, not lab-made stuff. They demand time, not haste. They tap your smarts as a grower, not some label's fine print. When you cultivate garlic like this, you're not just raising crops, you're pushing back. You're showing those ancient methods weren't crude, they were brilliantly tuned. You're demonstrating you can beat the corporate giants from your own plot of land. Those massive garlic heads from history, no legend, they're a natural fact ready to emerge. The raw potential slumbers in each clove you set in the ground. It just needs you to quit handling it like factory fodder and start seeing it as a vital organism that instinctively knows its path when you send the proper cues. Ditch the garden store hype. Reject the subpar supermarket hauls. Take back the lost skills. Bury 'em deep. Pile on the mulch and see the soil come alive.